Why did Sozin have Azulon when he was so old? Firelord Sozin was 82 years old when his son Firelord Azulon was born. Well, this is obviously a mistake by the creators. They made a math error and they didn't realize that Sozin would be 82 years older than Azulon because they messed up the timeline. But in universe, it's possible that Sozin just waited to have kids. Maybe he wanted to have kids much later in life because earlier during his reign, he was busy governing the Fire Nation and setting up preparations for the 100-Year War. So maybe Sozin was busy, and then he waited and put it off, and then finally decided to have kids when he was 82 years old. And by the way, Azulon was born the same year as Sozin's comet and the extermination of the air nomads and the start of the 100-Year War. So that would fit in line to that theory that Sozin just wanted to wait to have kids. Or maybe Sozin didn't even want kids at first, but then Sozin eventually realized that he needed to have an heir to the throne for the bloodline to continue, so he finally decided to have kids. Or it's possible that Sozin maybe wasn't able to have kids because he had a physical issue. Maybe he had performance issues, or maybe he was sterile, and then maybe his problems disappeared as he got older. Maybe he found some health improvements, or maybe he received some medical treatment for his problems, so that's also possible. And additionally, it's possible that Azulon is not Sozin's only child. Maybe Sozin had multiple children. Maybe Sozin had like 7 children, or 17 children, or 70 children. Maybe Sozin had many other children who were older than Azulon, but all of the older children, Azulon's older siblings, maybe they weren't able to be on the throne because they had problems, or maybe they died, or maybe they got on bad terms with Sozin, and Sozin was mad at them, so he banished them or something. So maybe Azulon is one of the youngest siblings. And in real life, people used to have many, many children. People used to have 10 children, like 12 children, 14 children. It would be very common to have at least like 5 or 8 children in a family. So, could be the case with Sozin and Azulon and their family. And also in real life, kings and emperors and royal leaders would continue to have children throughout their life. They would have multiple children throughout their life because they wanted to have many people available for the line of succession. They wanted to make sure that if the heir died, then there could easily be another member to take the place. So they didn't want the bloodline to end, so they would continue to have children over and over again. Now, worth noting that there is no mention of Sozin's wife, Azulon's mother, and we don't necessarily know that if Azulon's mother was actually Sozin's wife, because in real life, and I keep referencing real life too much, but the point is, in real life, kings and emperors and royal leaders would have multiple wives and multiple concubines. So Azulon's mother might have been a concubine, no evidence of that, but she very well could have been. And there's that. Now, of course, also in real life, people have children in their 70s and 80s. Men can become fathers even in their 80s, 70s, and 80s, even really old age. So it's just, this could happen in real life. Someone like Sozin could have a kid at 82. It could happen in real life, so it's not unrealistic at all. It literally happens and has happened many times. So, long story short, there could be many reasons why Sozin had Azulon when he was much older. And of course, another possibility is that Sozin froze his sperm. Maybe he had his sperm frozen, and then he decided to use it finally when he was 82 years old. Maybe he wanted to celebrate the extermination of the air nomads and the beginning of the 100-Year War and the Fire Nation's a great march to civilization conquest. So Azulon was basically a celebration of that. So maybe Sozin finally took out his frozen sperm from many, many years before and decided to use it to create Azulon. And of course, there is also that theory that Lo and Li are Azulon's sisters. And if so, Lo and Li would be Sozin's daughters. I don't really buy into this theory, but that's also possible, so just throwing that out there again.